The world needs to transform the way it operates in order to meet its climate change objectives. This implies fundamental changes across all sectors, from energy production and consumption to agricultural systems. These changes must be implemented without imposing undue burden on populations. They are necessary since without them, increasingly severe climate impacts will threaten the livelihoods of many populations. Transparency can help gather and analyze the data and information needed to plan, design, and evaluate policies and actions so that they can achieve transformational change. Transformational change can be defined as the fundamental, sustained change of a system that disrupts established carbon-intensive practices. In this way, it contributes to a zero-carbon society in line with the Paris Agreement's objective to limit global mean temperature increase to well below 2, ideally below 1.5 degrees centigrade. Transformational change refers to a system change and involves multiple actors at all levels of society. The status quo is disrupted and a new economic, political, social, and technological paradigm is established. Transparency in the context of transformational change means harnessing the power of data to design and implement policies and measures that have a true transformational potential. Data can support governments and stakeholders to identify and evaluate the interventions that can bring the economy closer to the new paradigm. Disruptive technologies, practices, and systems can be assessed to identify those that are most effective in the national context. Based on the information generated through these assessments, governments can then develop and adjust policies, engage the relevant stakeholders, and mobilize and direct funds to support the most transformative actions and interventions.
The ICAT Transformational Change methodology helps policymakers and other users assess policies and actions to understand what their transformational impact is. It follows a step-by-step approach, guiding the user to assess, either ex ante or ex post, the transformational impact of a policy. This can help design new effective policies or to evaluate the impact of existing policies to further improve them. The methodology provides a qualitative approach to assessing the extent of transformation and an option to quantitatively monitor indicators of transformational change. The methodology can be used to assess two types of transformational impacts, and these are processes and outcomes. Processes are the interdependent drivers of system change, and this includes technology change, agents of change, incentives for change, and norms and behavior change. These processes then lead to outcomes, which can be assessed in terms of their scale and sustained nature. The ICAT Transformational Change methodology is part of the ICAT series of policy assessment guides, which is a set of state-of-the-art methodologies that help countries to assess the impacts of policies and actions. The Transformational Change methodology can either be used on its own or in combination with other guides, such as those that focus on the assessment of greenhouse gas impacts. The methodology is available in English and Spanish, and you can access it for free on the ICAT website. Building on all of this, the ICAT Transformational Change Toolkit, which is an open source software that will facilitate the application of the methodology, will soon be available in March 2024. It will also expand the methodology to support the assessment of transformational impacts from a portfolio of actions, from carbon market activities, as well as investment and private sector plans. Several countries have applied the ICAT Transformational Change methodology to assess the impact of selected policies and actions. In Brazil, a forward-looking assessment was conducted on the transformational potential of a proposed solar power expansion in the state of Minas Gerais. The assessment demonstrated that the policy had a potential to be transformational, particularly in terms of renewable energy expansion and greenhouse gas mitigation at a state level. The assessment also provided recommendations for ways to improve the policy, such as paying increased attention to job and income creation, strengthening incentives for the adoption of solar energy, and promoting the scaling up of relevant technologies. In Uganda, the methodology was applied to assess, in a hypothetical scenario, if a policy promoting geothermal energy development could be transformational. The assessment showed that such a policy would have the potential to bring about transformation in terms of greenhouse gas emissions and sustainable development impacts. However, it also showed that the likelihood of the policy being implemented was low due to several barriers, including interest from the oil and gas industry, lack of funding, awareness, and skilled technical staff. These two examples show how countries can use the transformational change methodology to evaluate how effective or not effective a policy can be, and what steps can be taken to improve their design and implementation to truly achieve transformational change. More details on these examples, as well as other examples of the application of the methodology in countries such as Argentina, Rwanda, Trinidad and Tobago, are available on the ICAT website.